Good morning, everyone, and welcome to All City Kids. I'm Pastor Danielle, and today we are continuing our series on the life of Moses. And today's main point is when things are going wrong, I can talk to God. So not only when things are good or bad or whatever, but anytime you want to talk to God, you can talk to God, especially when things are going wrong. So we're going to take a look at this through the life of Moses. So check it out.
Hey guys, I'm Rachel. Welcome to our new series all about Moses. We're so glad you're here joining us this week. In this series, we are going to talk about some of the important lessons we can learn from different events that happened throughout Moses' life. We'll focus on the fact that no matter what we're going through or what we're feeling, we can always depend on God. God has not given us a spirit of fear and timidity. He gives us the strength we need to get through any hard situation. We don't have to be afraid because we have God on our side. To help us understand this, we are now going to watch a Bible story and hear more about Moses' life. Let's check it out.
Stories of the Bible. Moses and the Exodus. This is Moses, who was an Israelite born in Egypt in a time when Israelite boys were not supposed to live.
Wait, huh?
Moses, however, grew up in the palace of the Pharaoh, the very man who was enslaving the Israelite people. When Moses grew up, he made a big mistake.
Uh-oh.
So Moses ran away from Egypt
Wow!
to the land of Midian.
Ah.
After many years, an angel of the Lord appeared to Moses and told him to go back to Egypt to free the Israelites. After much protesting, God granted Moses his brother Aaron to speak on his behalf.
Phew.
So Moses went to Egypt.
Here, move there.
And on his way there, he met Aaron, who was ready to do whatever God wanted him to do. The Israelites were slaves to the Egyptians, but God had a special plan for Moses.
Hey, everyone, up. Huh?
After rallying God's people to them,
Yeah.
Moses and Aaron went to the Pharaoh.
Ahem.
And said, "This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, has said. Let my people go."
Shoot.
And Pharaoh made the Israelites work harder because of this.
Hey, how are you? Huh?
The foremen of the Israelite slaves were angry with Moses and Aaron for causing this trouble.
Huh?
So Moses cried out to God and asked why this was happening. But God said, "You will see what I will do. I am the Lord. I will deliver you from slavery."
Wow, okay. Hey!
Moses told this to the people,
Hey!
but they were so discouraged that they didn't listen to him.
Yeah, whatever.
God told Moses to go to Pharaoh and to do exactly as he said. So Moses and Aaron went to the Pharaoh.
Hey!
God told them to take the staff and throw it down before Pharaoh.
Huh?
Pharaoh was not impressed. He called his wise men and sorcerers, and they did the same thing.
Ooga.
But Aaron's staff swallowed up the sorcerer's staff. Yet Pharaoh's heart was hardened, and he would not listen to them,
Shoot.
just as God had said. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Go to the banks of the Nile River and meet Pharaoh."
Hey, Pharaoh. Oh, man.
Moses and Aaron did just as God had said.
Oh.
But again, Pharaoh's magicians did the same miracle, and Pharaoh refused to let God's people go. So God sent 9 more plagues to Egypt to show his power. Even with all the suffering, Pharaoh's heart stayed hard and he would not let the people go. On the night of the last plague, Pharaoh woke up and heard a great cry in Egypt.
Oh, no.
For there was not a house in Egypt where someone was not dead. Pharaoh summoned Moses and Aaron and told him to be gone with the Israelites. So the Israelites left Egypt immediately and made their way to the Promised Land, taking with them many riches from Egypt, and they took Joseph's bones as they had promised him many years before. But after they had gone, Pharaoh changed his mind and readied his army to take back the Israelites. When the Israelites saw Pharaoh and his armies come, they were terrified. But God made a way for them. Through all of this, the Israelites saw the great power of their God, the one true God, and they put their trust in Moses, his servant.
What a great Bible story. That Bible story helps us to better understand how we can always put our trust in God and take comfort in knowing that we are a child of God. God always gives us the strength we need to get through any scary or hard situation. Now let's continue to learn more about how we can always put our trust in God by watching Rewind, a show where we bring you the best and most viral videos that YouTube has to offer. Let's check it out and see what Caroline is up to this week.
What's up, everybody? My name is Caroline, and this is Rewind. Rewind is a show where we compile the most awesomest videos that YouTube has to offer and show them to you, our loyal viewers. Is awesomest even a word? Well, now it is. Let's get started. This week, we've got more fails for your viewing pleasure. But this time, there's a twist. I'm gonna start to watch each video, but before it can finish, I'm gonna try and guess what happens next. Fortunately for me, all the answers are multiple choice. Sound simple enough? Perfect. Let's get this show on the road. Pause. Okay, let's review the options of what we think is going to happen next. The options are A, belly flop, B, flying cartwheel, or C, back-breaking backflip. All right, judging based off of how he's gonna fly off of this thing, I'm thinking it's gonna be C, back-breaking backflip. But let's see what happens next. Oh my gosh, did you see that? Look at this replay. Oh, he totally looks like a gingerbread man. Looks like I was wrong too. The correct answer was B, the flying cartwheel. I need to step up my guessing game. All right, video number 2, please.
Here comes the motivator.
Okay, pause. So let's review the options of what we think is gonna happen next. The options are A, makes it halfway and then face plants, B, makes it all the way, or C, misses the first jump completely. Looking at the size of this motivator, as they call it, I'm gonna have to go with C and think that she's gonna miss the first jump completely. So let's see what happens. Oh my gosh, that had to hurt. Yes, I got it right. I mean, oh, that really must have hurt. I feel good and bad at the same time. All right, next video, video number 3.
Look good.
Okay, pause. Okay, let's review the options of what we think is gonna happen next. The options are A, front flip face plant, B, smacked upside the head, or C, eaten by sharks. Based off of how she started off, I'm gonna guess A and think that she's gonna do a front flip face plant because that would be so cool. Okay, let's see what happens next. Oh, how did she even do that front flip? I don't even know if that was on purpose, but that was so cool. 10 out of 10. Okay, next video. Video number 4. Okay, pause. So there's 3 doors. Interesting. Let's review the options of what we think is gonna happen next. A, fall through a trap door. B, hit by a battering ram. Or C, slips on a banana peel. Based off of how she's going to door number 2, I'm thinking that it's gonna have to be A, and she'll fall through a trap door. Obviously. So let's see what actually happens next. Oh, that had to hurt. There's no way she saw that coming. That is gonna leave a mark. Shoot, I got another one wrong. So let's see if I can redeem myself with the next video. Video number 5.
The Taj Mahal, the Great Wall of China, the Grand Canyon.
Okay, pause. All right, so what do we think is gonna happen next? A, ball dropped on her head. B, hit by the wall. Or C, trips on a shoelace. All right, I don't know how, but I think she's gonna get hit by a wall, so I'm gonna have to go with B.
And now,
That had to hurt. Oh, you too. Oh my gosh, no one is seeing this coming. Oh, yep, there you go. Every single time. Yeah, that was pretty bad, but hey, I got it right. You know, things were going wrong for most of these game show contestants. Getting hit in the face, doing mid-air cartwheels, or falling face first into a lake of mud. Yeah, sometimes stuff doesn't always go our way, and no one knew that better than Moses. Moses and his brother Aaron went to Pharaoh's palace and shared God's message with the leader of Egypt. Let my people go. But Pharaoh just made the Israelite slaves work even harder. Moses had traveled a long way to deliver God's message, and it took a lot of courage for him to confront Pharaoh. But things didn't go like Moses thought they would. Moses cried out to God, asking what he should do. God told Moses and Aaron to show Pharaoh God's power. They went to the palace, and before everyone, Aaron turned his walking staff into a snake. Pharaoh said this was nothing, and he had his sorcerers do the same thing. So God sent 10 plagues on Egypt. They were all scary reflections of God's immense power. But after every single plague, Pharaoh's heart remained hardened. God sent an angel throughout all of Egypt. The next morning, Pharaoh and all the other Egyptians woke to find that someone had died in every single house except for where the Israelites lived. Finally, Pharaoh gave up. He understood that God was far more powerful and that by refusing to obey God's command, he had brought this suffering upon his people. After 10 plagues, Pharaoh finally let God's people go. Sometimes life doesn't go quite how we think it will. When things don't go as planned, it can leave you feeling confused and frustrated. But the good news is we can always talk to God about our feelings through prayer. The Israelites couldn't understand why they were enslaved by the Egyptians. They were God's chosen people, and Moses couldn't understand why Pharaoh wouldn't let them go. But God had a greater plan in mind than they could understand. This is often true of our lives. We have a certain idea of how our lives should be, but even if that idea lines up with what the Bible teaches, it doesn't mean that it will happen exactly like we think it will. When things don't go as planned, it can be discouraging and confusing. But the good news is we can always go to God with our discouragement and confusion. It is better to be like Moses and go to God with our pain and confusion than to be like Pharaoh and harden our hearts. And this goes for any time life gets hard. God loves to hear from us. We are his children and he loves us. Ultimately, we should trust God's plan for our lives. But that doesn't mean we can't ask him questions along the way. So if you're having a hard time this week, go to God in prayer. Your difficulties might not go away immediately, but God will help you deal with them. Prayer is a wonderful gift and we should use it as much as we can. It is always available to us. Even if things don't go as planned, God will always hear our prayers no matter what. All right, guys, we're just about done here. We'll catch you back here next week for another episode of Rewind.
Wow, that was awesome! Just like Caroline said, even when we're going through some really hard times, we can take comfort in knowing that God is in control and that we can always ask him for help. He promises to be there for us no matter what. Remember, God loves you and he cares for you. He'll never leave your side. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time. Bye!